Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for joining us tonight. And it's a pleasure to be here with you guys tonight with our trainer to discuss about AI. First of all, I want to discuss or I want to give you a background about Acromind Academy. So, Acromind Academy empowers professionals and students with practical future skills from AI and digital tools to business and workplace environment. So we help you work smarter, grow faster, and stay ahead in today's fast-changing world. For tonight's session, we are excited to have Mr. Puneet Joshi, a corporate trainer and learning development specialist with over 15 years of experience to lead this session. Mr. Puneet designs and delivers practical programs across data, AI, and workplace skills, helping professionals and organizations improve productivity and decision-making skills without getting overwhelmed by technologies. So in this session, he'll show how working professionals can use AI to work faster and smarter, all without needing a technical background. So let's begin and hear more about how AI is transforming the workplace with Mr. Puneet Joshi. Good evening, Mr. Puneet.
Good evening, Ms. Archa. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. All right, so it was quite spoken that how professionals are using AI to work faster. But however, the recent data does not suffice the same thing. Uh, Let me first go ahead and start share the screen because that would be more ideal way for taking us forward. And today I'm not here to definitely, bore you or talk about the jargons, talk about coding. No, the topic is very simple. Whatever we've been doing and how are we actually doing it, that's the most important part for us, right? So I'm excited to talk on this topic because this is quite close to my heart. And under the flagship of EchoMind, what we present today is AI is not definitely replacing any professionals. Now, hear me out this part very clearly. AI is not there to replace people. It's always the people that or who will replace the other one. The only difference will be one who has learned AI versus one who is still thinking to. Now you name it upskilling, upgrading, but being a trainer over 15 plus years of experience, I come across many industry experts. Even I have my mentors and I come across many learners to whom I train on, every day. Learner's journey is not so easy. Why? There is a noise around AI. Many people are excited, many are confused, few are scared. So today, why am I here is to definitely cut that noise and put some clarity, add few sense of mind, and give you that particular motivation to understand one clear thing. AI is a tool, and human intelligence is what the key is. So if you are somewhere nervous about the fact that you're quite far in this journey of AI, trust me, by the end of the session, you will understand that you're already using AI. The only difference it could make is not the way it should be, right? So making it clear, we're not doing any coding. We're not talking about Python. We're not talking about any jargons here. I want to keep it very simple so that it reach out to everyone who are there today. And I'm very grateful for finding time and, taking. So how is our day looking like? So we are simply talking about how professionals today are using this two letters AI to work faster. Now is still, if every one of us know the full form of AI, that's artificial intelligence. Now before I jump on the topic and start talking about it, I will put my sense of knowledge on what I consider the real AI is, right? So AI, this is a question to you. I mean, you can start thinking about it. Is it actually artificial or should it be applied intelligence? What do you think? Should it still be artificial? when it is almost taking place in almost every genre, shall it be still termed as artificial? If it was so artificial, then the human intervention should not be there. But I call the same two letters, AI, as applied intelligence. And why so? It's very simple, because AI only matters when it becomes applied intelligence, and we will actually learn and see it today. So your questions are welcome. Right, I'll go slow. I don't have to rush about. And as I said, I will not be using any jargon, something which goes out of the blue and it's very difficult to understand. Right. Now, before I start, one of the curiosity, I mean, like, of course, I know the answer would be possibly yes, and 9 out of 10 yes is what I'm gonna get and expect. But before we start, I need a quick answer for one of the questions that you see on the slide. So you just have to type yes, that's yes, if you have ever used ChatGPT at work. I'll give you 30 seconds time for this, and then I'll actually talk about something very interesting, why many people are so often confused with the word ChatGPT and AI. All right, as said, I guess I would have definitely got all yeses so far in the comment box. If someone is still finding a time, they can definitely put it across and I'll see to it. But then today's session, as I said, is not about prompt. But now, before taking it to prompts, let me clear one more myth. There was a time when Gmail was automatically supporting our reply and autocorrecting. E-commerce websites were already recommending the products. Social media like Instagram, possibly YouTube, were already showing the recommended reels. LinkedIn was already controlling the content and putting it into the feeds. Now, you know what happened? We were already using AI. Yeah, AI was always around us, but there is this thing, which is ChatGPT, that gave the visibility to AI. And today, as per the data, there are almost 800 million to 1 billion users of ChatGPT across the globe. The numbers could be differentiated on the various factors, of course. However, out of this 800 millions to 1 billion users of ChatGPT, if you see what the study says, there are 60 to 70% people who don't structure the prompt. They're using ChatGPT as if like they're using it for like Google or WhatsApp maybe. So they're using ChatGPT as chatbot, right? And that is where the output, the outcome they get is something very different. Remaining 20% people to 30% people are somewhere in the middle, and they lose the flow. Only 10% are able to leverage it. So those 10% are the one who have a very higher probability of replacing the remaining 90%. So your call is, should I stand in those 10% or should I still be in the crowd of 90%? That's a decision that you're gonna make today. The only decision that you have to make is, should I stand in 10% or should I still keep myself into 90% group? Because you are already using AI. Right? So there's no one coming to replace you. It's just that you need to be more structured, more smarter to use it. So today, as I said, when we're not talking about prompts, we're not talking about tools, we are not going technical. Today, it is all about what all work can disappear from your plate using AI. Right? Without automation skills, without coding, without any confusion. I don't want you to connect on any tool. I'm not neither using Python. I don't have any tools to open up. I'm just running on my presentation and I'm definitely talking to you guys. Now, there are two important things that we're going to cover today. And trust me, this will make an interest to you. And by the end of the session, you will go back to recall and you will be definitely smiling with the fact that, hey, I was already doing it. It's just that I have to restructure and apply and see the magic right from tomorrow itself. If you have a time, I know it's a weekend, so possibly you can start from Monday as well. That's not at all an issue. However, the two topics that we are talking about is how professionals use ChatGPT properly. Mind you, pay attention to the words, how professionals use ChatGPT properly. You guys are professional enough, working with corporates, leading the economy, shaping the future. So how they are using ChatGPT. And in the second part, we're going to talk about how do they remove the repetition using automation. So we don't have to be quite slanged or jargoned here talking about like, Zapier or all those connections. The most important part for us is in my current state of process, is there any way I can automate something? And trust me, once you will go on the slides and once I start talking to you, you will find it easier. It's just that you have to take 2 extra steps to have it done. You're already there. Take my words on this. So without wasting time, let's talk about a quick reality check first. What people are actually doing. So they own a Ferrari and they're still driving in first gear. So that means they are not actually respecting the brand Ferrari. So that's actually a metaphor that I tried using here. That owning a Ferrari itself is a big earning. However, driving only in the first gear, you are compromising on the speed of it. So what I mean is, ChatGPT is not a chatbot. It's your thinking assistant. There is a difference when it comes to chatbot, and there is a difference when we talk about a thinking assistant. When I say thinking assistant, it's a two-way mind that flows towards the idea generation, right? Of course, how the ideas are generated, how to narrate, everything is coming across in few moments from now. But the reality check is must. We are grown-ups, we are mature, we are professional, we are looking forward to growth in our career, in our profession, in our business. Uh, Thinking about the various landscapes of growth and the various dimensions today, what we understand is we are ready to learn and apply. Now, if there are challenges in learning, I can still find the resources. But if my application is wrong, then I have to redo the learning part. And that is where most of the people miss. You don't have to redo the learning part. You just have to correct the learning and application. There is very simple transition that happens from learning to application. So how most people are using AI wrong, and trust me, as I said, been training to many people, even C-suite executives, the leaders, even the CEOs, the managers, and of course, people who are wanting to do something great in data and AI, be it Excel, be it Power BI. I come across a lot of professionals who are coming from various different domain, title, roles, and industry. And when I just do a quick activity to understand this, because this is what have made me talk today about it. They simply put in like, write an email, or could you summarize this, or fix the grammar? And this is how we generally talk on, so-called WhatsApp. Hey, how are you? Coming, going, you there? ChatGPT is not WhatsApp. It's not Google. It itself has its own essence, and that is what we need to understand and start applying. AI actually should replace the thinking so that we get a thinking assistant, drafting, which takes a lot of time and energy, structuring, where we definitely need to follow an order, and then automating. So the first part that we're going to cover today would be the ChatGPT section. Now, let me put a remark here closely to you. ChatGPT has no controlled way of operation, right? Sometimes you will get vague outputs. Sometimes even writing the bad prompts, possibility of getting the good output remains. I'm not ignoring a fact that it's always the good prompt delivers the good output. It could be possible that you have just put the messy notes there, and then you have just got the good output. Trust me, once out of a blue is fine. Twice is your luck. Third time it will not happen. So if you follow a pattern, if you get to know the structure, it becomes easier for you to always have the good output. And when I say the good output, let me bring you something very interesting which you would agree to, and you definitely know it. I'm not the first one who is actually talking about it. The most powerful processing unit that exists on the planet Earth, let's say, is human brain. Second is AI tool that has come into the place. But human intelligence is what is driving the AI. It's not the other way around. AI is supporting human intelligence to prosper and get applied in the right manner. It's just the rightest way of doing it to get the better results. It's not about just doing it. That makes a whole difference out of it. So if you see on this particular, I've taken few scenarios which are quite common for the people who are into HRs, who are into managers, sales manager, purchasing managers, people who are like, for example, even the content writer, the personal branding experts, people who are working as a freelance, people like me in a training and development, in learning and development, and corporate trainers. And if we have collaborations with a lot of trainings, one thing that we generally prefer to do and is expected to submit is our weekly reports. Now, this is so quite often. Now, keep in mind that all of a sudden I will transit to automation. So you need to understand where the automation begins and where the ChatGPT supports. It's not the fact that ChatGPT will stop and automation will start. No. So it's quite a parallel journey we're gonna go through. Of course, we're gonna sail easy. However, it's a complete 360-degree holistic approach that we're going to apply. So if you see on the screen right now, the scenario that I want to discuss, which is quite common in almost every title role, industry domain, name it whatever, is weekly reports. Now, if you see here, I've just got some messy notes on the left side. So client meeting Tuesday requested faster updates, all of this, John completed draft proposal. Now, these are the messy notes which I tried putting it on the ChatGPT, and I said, like, give me the weekly report. Now, why do I say it as a bad output? So I'm not going to, of course, read the complete part. However, if I just pay attention to something on the right side, the first thing which I feel is disconnection. Because I already had messy notes on the left side, right? Client, John, marketing, new hires, sales, all the bullet points. Now, this is a complete paragraph and I see no cohesion. I don't see any connection there. This week, the team had a client meeting on Tuesday where the client wanted faster update. It looks like more like, it's just got translated or maybe rephrased. It does not look what I wanted. And this is the beauty of human brain or humans. Why do I say so that human brain is the most fastest processing unit? Because you know what, we foresee the output, we start looking the image that we want to see. Whatever we do for a purpose, but the output is something quite, it's blurred, but at least it's there in our head. We are able to see that if I'm writing something right now as a prompt, this is what I want to see, but that does not happen. So I'm able to see it as a human that this is what I want, but my input is absolutely wrong. That means my vision is not wrong. My structure is wrong. My process to get to that particular vision that I want is actually getting compromised, and that is what we need to just correct it. Before I go ahead, I want to tell you something very interesting, and you will find it good that by the end of the session, you will definitely receive the template or so-called your prompt playbook, in which I have marked few common what's the general prompting looks like, all the good ones, and that is where you would understand how to see it. Let me try showing you something quickly that will make your life easier. So if you see here something, okay, the prompt that works for any role. Now, before I show you the good output, because I've already shown you something called a bad output, right? This is what you must try following, right? I'm not saying this is the only thing that you should follow. What I mean is, if you start doing it, if you start writing, if you start structuring your prompt in this manner, trust me, it remains as a template. Second, you are getting smarter to include or exclude what you want. And third, it is quite directed. You're directing ChatGPT to work with you. You're not accepting what does it give. That is what the difference between accepting the technology and applying the technology is. So what we say, act as a role. So let's say you are a sales manager, ask the ChatGPT to behave as a sales manager. What is the context? So just write, I work in. So now ChatGPT is behaving as a sales manager and I work in retail industry and my function is purchasing. And this task is for, let's say, my team who needs the clear updates. Now, what is the kind of output I need? Depend upon the situation. Am I submitting the report? Or am I generating an email that has to be sent across on the weekly update? Or am I just summarizing in a quick bi-weekly meeting for 10 minutes? Or is it just the table or infographics that I need? See, the way you're gonna write the ChatGPT gonna behave because you already told ChatGPT to behave as the sales manager. So in your case, why do I say so that it works for any role? You know your role very well. You know your industry and function very well. You know who are you approaching to, because audience psychology is the most important one. If you're known to your audience, that's fine. But if your audience is not known to you, that's quite dangerous. So you must know who is it for. That's the most important part. And your task help me with what is your task. You need the report, you need the weekly reports, and then tell the format. What sort of tone do you want to keep it? If it's going into boardroom meetings, professional. If it is going to, let's say, another client to whom you are presenting your company as, executive. If it is going to your team members, you need to be simple because they are the one who gonna, contribute into the operational efficiency. Hence, tone there should be simple. I mean, it's professional plus simple, no much jargons about it. Length, as we say, if it's a report, it can be detailed. If it's an email, short or pointer based. Summary, short. Table, that's again data. And also ensure to write what not to include or what to avoid, because ChatGPT will understand. Avoid the jargons, keep it practical. It should be business ready, actionable. Once done, this will work for you in first, making a JDs, second, keeping the follow-ups. And we are actually going on more such scenarios. Let me go back to the screen, and then we of course going to talk about. So what I showed you right now was a simple structure of one of the role, one of the prompt that of course is coming all the way to you in the PDF by the end of the session. But right now what we see on the screen, it does not look so good to me. So, at least not to me, because it's quite confusing, not connected. It's a paragraph. So as a human, first thing first, when I don't have a time, we are a professionals, we hardly get time for ourselves. So when it's so much lengthy, I don't feel like even reading it. Trust me, the left side, however it's messy, but it is still make a better sense to me, right? But now, how about this? Clean, clear structure. Any point is not so well adjust. If you see client meeting, Tuesday. Project deliverables, done. HR and training, done. Sales and IT, finance and budget, what is the next step? CTA given, follow up, finalize, review. Simple. This is what I expected ChatGPT to do. When you're expecting your friend to do something, you need to give the proper prompt. So prompt structuring is the most important part. And if you start doing it, it's not rocket science. 1 or 2 times and you are done, up and running. As I said, you're already using AI, and ChatGPT is one a part of a tool. So just leverage it. Let's see one more example. Follow-ups, reminders. Again, very much common in almost every industry. Be it real estate, we have to follow up with a client. If I need the documents from the client, I need reminders. Banking industry, aviation, logistics, or name it any role. Let's say I want to send a reminder, follow up. I'm a job seeker, applied for a job, applied for one of the opportunity that got advertised possibly on Indeed or any of the job portals, or maybe on LinkedIn. And I was in a continuous talk with the HR, and then I just want to follow up on my candidature or maybe an application. What will I do? Of course, a follow-up email possibly. So then if I'm using ChatGPT, I'm not asking the ChatGPT to draft grammatically correct follow-up. What do you think? If you are doing so, the other people does not know that it's a chat GPT version. So in that case, if we see on the left side, again the pointers looks, they are messy. I mean, like, they just got collected. So sales follow up with client A, candidate follow up interview on Tuesday, internal reminder, team check in, email, fine. But it's still, they are making sense better than the bad output which we see on the right side, which says this week there are several follow-ups to be done. Now this week there are several follow-ups to be done. This is the first negative statement that is adding an extra pressure on me, right? Sales team needs to follow this, candidate follow up. Now what is the connection of the sales team with the candidate? What is the connection of candidate with the internal reminder for monthly report? Then team check-in, this team is connected to candidate and also need the email. I mean, four different entities are just combined here, and I'm definitely confused of the fact that are they connected, are they not connected, and who is it going for? So you cannot blame ChatGPT for it, because you just had put the messy notes and you just asked write a follow-up and it delivered. However, if the prompt was correct, which of course is there in the PDF, how the good output would look? Simple. A proper understanding. So for the client, it's a follow-up. For the recruitment, it's a candidate interview follow-up. For internal team, it's a monthly report. For vendors, it's an email vendor. Next step, what must be done? CTA. If you see, I'll just quickly go on the slide before. There is no CTA here if you see, call to action. I mean, it's just that rephrased, structured, put across, done. What is to be done after this? Follow-up is the next step. Reminder once sent, person who is receiving it should act upon it, right? You're not just sending a reminder just because you can send it. So where is the CTA? It's completely missing there. However, on the good output, if you see, there's a proper next steps which says complete all pending follow-ups, update the team managers once done. This act as a reminder. This shows you that, okay, fine, I don't have to just stop in getting the follow-ups, but I do have to send it across to someone. So trust me, I mean, it's not rocket science, right? If I could structure the prompts the way I want it to deliver the output, even you can structure. It's just that you need to understand some basic things, which is structuring, what is the purpose, who is your audience. And once you start doing it, trust me, on the ChatGPT, you log in, you do it. And once you generate the proper good output with the structured template, ChatGPT will start following the same pattern. So then you don't have to be quite repetitive unless your audience is changing, your context is changing, or your constraints are changing, right? So the only difference, if we see in the bad output or good output, what exactly got changed? The AI got changed? Did we buy the was it the fact that the good prompt came in or the good output came in with the ChatGPT premium, but I was using the ChatGPT free, so it didn't give me the proper output that I wanted to? No, AI didn't improve. AI was doing its job. The instruction that you gave has changed and brought that magic, and that's the reason I say don't consider the GPTs, right? Be it any. Of course, I know that today's topic is ChatGPT. However, any GPTs to be a chatbot, they are your assistant. They are your thinking assistant. If you deliver the right instruction, then you expect the right results from them. So this is the change. This is the magic that we see. And so the key takeaway so far of the first section that we are about to have done is don't ask AI to do the work. Simple. As I said, it's your applied intelligence, right? Take the technology, make a good friendship with it, and then just pass on your intelligence. Ask it to think alongside with you. Give the proper direction. It will get the work done. Trust me, it's not that difficult. It's just that you have to start putting into. You will see the magic, and you will remember the fact that, of course, there was someone who told us that this can do definitely a magic, and you will see a lot of difference in your old structures and new structures. Now, so far we were talking about writing the prompt, getting the report. Now, Mr. Puneet, can you tell us a fact that, we have to keep writing the prompt, right? Okay, we can do it. After two or three prompts, possibly GPT can start following the pattern and it can give. Again, we can change the constraint, the context, the audience. But then post which, once the output is done, once the prompt is ready, once we know what exactly it is, let's say the draft is ready, and we have other processes also. So, can there be anything which could be connected in such a way that, we save our time doing the things? So, let me break this statement: save time doing the things. No, it's a wrong statement. We cannot save time doing things. Absolutely no. But yes, we can save time, but by not repeating things. There is a difference between doing and repeating. We waste time when we have to repeat. We apply time when, or we invest time when we have to do, right? So if we start imagining that if all of this, whatever my whole process is, let's say there are four steps that I need to follow. If this all four processes by the help of AI with the GPT, with my human intelligence, if all of this can be combined and if it could be done automatically, I'm ready to take that particular first step to design it, right? However, post which, if it can be done automatically for me, is that possible? Yeah, that is possible because that's what we saw tell as automation. Now, there are many automation tools. What are we discussing today is not the high-end technology. We are just understanding one clean, rule. We can still do the things with the tools that we have today in our hand. We don't have to go to high-end technology. We don't have to see through various parallel networks. Start doing with the tools that you have, and they're the most common ones in which you definitely are wasting time and just rewriting the prompt and pushing the chat gpt to give what you want, but you're not correcting the prompt, or and you are repeating the processes which are quite common. The sequences. So both of this, if applied, trust me, you will have a lot of time for you to for yourself, right? So in this case, the second part that we're going to talk about is automation. Now, automation is not always about coding. Automation is always about the decisions plus the sequence. Now, who can make the better decision? Is that the AI, say ChatGPT, or you? It's you. Now, ChatGPT possibly, or any other tool, will be supporting your decision, but your intellect would actually play the higher role in that. Sequencing. I need A, then the following which I need B, following which I need the C, and then following with which I could end up at D. So my process is A, B, C, and D. Who is writing this sequence? Who is understanding this sequence? It's you. Alongside, of course, the tool, because you are the domain expert. You have been working over the years in your process, in your title, in your role, in your function. So you know where the input comes in, where does it go, who is it for, how it should act. So it is you who is actually designing that sequence, which is quite easy for you because you have been doing it. Now, how to combine the decision making and the sequencing in order for us to apply the automation and let it repeat forever. Any day when it requires the changes, I'm definitely up and running for it, right? So far, ChatGPT can think this is what we have noticed. But thinking once is not enough, right? Because thinking is the first step. Execution, application matters a lot. So real power will come only when the thinking happens automatically. I'll tell you something very interesting. While thinking on this particular topic to present, I had quite divided mind when I was actually researching around this topic, having spoken to many my own students also. that should I keep it only for ChatGPT or should I include the automation? But then I realized that GPTs are fine, but how long will it take for my learners or any learner to structure the prompt and start getting the output? Possibly by Tuesday, since it's Saturday today. So Sunday we are on off, no problem. Monday we start applying. Tuesday we are getting better. Wednesday output starts coming in. We are good to go. But then what? The important question is then what? Because technology does not stop, so does we. So we have to keep continued. In order for that, the reason taking the automation alongside the GPT was what made me decide that no, I should include the magic of automation alongside the GPT, so that you at least see that process happening and then you get the confidence of application, right? So think about, if you see it on the screen right now, human brain connected well, lot of inputs coming in, lot of outputs could go. But for 5 seconds to 10 seconds, think about how a normal automation process would look like. I mean, like, is it a process? Can it be mapped? Can it be a flow chart? What a normal automation process looks like. I'm not talking about and I'm not talking about agentic code, agentic AI, nothing. I'm keeping it very simple. There is a process that includes 4 steps for me to follow, quite repetitive. Can there be automation applied? I'll include ChatGPT also to help me in that. That is a simple process. Without wasting much of your time, I'll put you to the another slide, a simple automation flow. Understand what exactly automation is. We have zillions and zillions of data coming in, and AI will structure it. Humans approve it. Simple. Data, AI structures it, humans approved it. And somewhere in the middle of the layer is automation applied. So if you see this, Google Sheet, this is the one of the most common example I wanted to take, because now and then, of course, Microsoft 365 is there. Every one of us are so used to Sheets or 365. So our data is there with the sheet. Now I'm keeping a very simple scenario here. So I get a lot of data in the sheet, and then I need to analyze the sheet, draft the report, and then send it across to, say, possibly my manager or my team or whosoever it may be. I'm not bringing a sense of copilot here in the Excel, nothing. I'm simply talking on the automation. So in this fact, Google Sheet is what my data is. I want my AI, possibly let's say ChatGPT, because I'm quite structured in my prompt, to help me drafting a report on the data which is there in my Google Sheet. So now we know how do we gonna process it? Simple. We will ask the ChatGPT to act as a role. The context, the audience, the data, everything we're gonna write it. Right. ChatGPT will start working around it. Will draft the report. At the end, when the report is drafted, I personally have to see through that there is no mismatched data, information, and it's going correct. But then the problem is I have to send this report every week. Now this is repetition, right? So in this case, can I do something where automatically the draft of the report can happen and my job is just to review? Okay, now how can we do it? So let's first talk about few automation paths. So I'm just going to talk about 3 automation elements. There are numerous of those, of course. There are platforms wherein you can definitely connect all the processes together. But understand, connecting the processes is not automation, because you need to design those particular sequence to automate it. So ChatGPT is your thinking engine. It's your brain. And now you know from today onwards, it's your thinking assistant. So you are directing it and it is supporting you. So it will decide what to write, how to summarize, what matters. Once the input is structured, the rules that you want it to apply is there, done. So ChatGPT part that we have already discussed, I'm not gonna stretch it. So this is ready. Second thing, Zapier. This is the most common. So now see, Zapier is not an AI. It does not think. It connects. Automation is connection. So it just connect things, right? So when this happens, you ask the ChatGPT and you send the results somewhere. So Zapier is one of those. But as I said, I'm not here to show you Zapier configuration or the screen. I'll put something very common. Almost every one of us have been using it and uses it every day. The docs, Google Drive docs, be it a sheet, email, CRMs. We can have integrated CRM, we can have dedicated CRM or standalone CRM, right? So data is there. Doesn't matter, I'm getting my data from sheets, from docs. What I need at the end of the day is someone to draft a report after analyzing, and that process should be automated because I don't want to keep doing it every week. So now how to do it. Now the next slide of course will actually show you how the automation flows. But before that, it is much better for us to understand what changes when work gets automated. See, my purpose is not automation, right? My purpose is something different for which I want to apply automation. So what exactly do I get if I try avoiding the repetitive steps and put an automation here, right? So before automation, if you can see on the left side, your tedious admin work, that can be endless, your constant follow-ups. And again, when you have a constant follow-up, then of course, if it's quite repetitive, you don't know when your clients are meeting up, who is saying what, people are not waiting for your call, they may be busy, then they come back to you. So of course, all of this particular updates that you get is messy, and that is what we have seen, the messy notes getting put into the ChatGPT to draw the output, right? Missed deadlines, very common. People are missing deadlines just because they are stuck in a loop. Staff is overwhelmed, too much of work. Monotonous, we feel disconnected, there's no motivation. Why? Because there's nothing new, right? I'm not still able to finish what I have in my plate. How can I feel like to have a dessert right now? As simple as this. But after the automation, what happens exactly is you actually sidelines processes which are quite repetitive, requires less human intervention, and can be done. Auto reminders can be sent, workflow can be managed. On time project delivery, you remain punctual, you focus on growth. And one more important point is you save time for yourself, and that amount saved can be well utilized in upskilling. And even not upskilling, you can go to the beach and relax for yourself. You can give the time to your family. Trust me, this happens because people are doing it. I told you the topic is how professionals are using, so they are using it this way, and that's the reason they don't put pressure on their brain or mind, right? They've been working on it. So before automation, the process is think, do, repeat. As simple as this. Think, do, repeat. Think, do, repeat. After automation is smart. Decide, automate, review. During the decision making, ChatGPT is already helping you. Drafting, it is already helping you. Automation, you've already designed the process, being a process expert, and you know the sequence. Review is what that you're waiting for. Let's say on your chair with your best taste of coffee, reviewing, things are under your control. So repetition is something which you need to block, right? And the automation scenario that I'm taking right now is again the same, weekly updates. This is the same ChatGPT prompt that I connected in few slides before, because that's quite common which every one of us has to do: weekly reports, weekly updates, right? So weekly update, let's say how to auto draft the report. So prompt was ready, which we gave. Now, who all does it work for? So managers, of course, they are bound to. HRs, sales, consulting, operations, even job seekers, individuals, everyone. Weekly updates are something which are very important. How does my week look like? What did I get out of this week? All this matters. But the one problem that is still there, managers, or managers, HRs, all the entities that I have spoken, they spend 2 to 3 hours every week turning the updates into reports. 2 to 3 hours every week. Even if you're working 5 days, 15 hours of your life is just spent in making reports, and we are still not automating the process. Just because there are many reasons, but one main reason is like our structured prompt is compromised, and the chat gpt is giving me the bad outputs. I'm doing all on my own. I cannot trust the chat gpt. So the draft now, if the output is bad, then the drafting of the no, chat gpt was doing its work. We were writing the unstructured prompt, so one problem is already solved. Now we just have to automate. So how do we do it? If you see on the screen right now, I'll give you a good amount of a time to see it, but not, of course, too much lengthy. This is a very simple way of automating. So let's say you have Google Sheets, you have input. So that means you have a raw input. Now AI thinking. So, alongside GPT, you write a prompt, it understands, you give the structure, it delivers the structure, summarizes as per the prompt. Once done, it will create the Google Doc output. Draft report, this is auto generated, right? So you just have to find 5 to 10 minutes, done it. Human review. So no coding, no AI background. It's always your control that remains in the process. So to ChatGPT, if you do take the data there, keep updating every week, automation starts, right? I'll show you a much better image than this. Of course, this is quite great to see. I mean, like, the way brain is enlightening, and the way data is moving, the arrows are quite fascinating for it. But for a better visual, let's see this. How does it look like? Google Sheet team updates, those were your raw inputs. AI made its thinking, auto generated weekly status report, and then human review. So AI would keep on taking the particular data, it will keep on updating the reports. Your job is human review. Unless there is some changes into data, constraint, text, context, or the role. Till then, you don't have to sit and put any inputs. Once your report is ready, you just have to possibly edit it, approve it, and send across. So your work, of course, will come. Human interventions cannot be ignored anywhere. You were there with the AI thinking as well, but you were now at the back because you have already designed it to do it for you, right? So simple automation is data comes in, AI will structure it, a draft is prepared, no coding, no AI background required. So try doing this, in the coming week. First, get to structure the prompt properly. Once the output is what you will feel, don't get overwhelmed. Try 1 to 2 different patterns, structure yourself, ask various role, and then club in. You will see the difference, what you have got so far versus what you are getting in the future. Then try automating, right? Take a dummy sheet, possibly, and then it, of course, will work. So what really matters with AI at work, there is so much of a hype. AI will replace, AI will replace. AI will not replace the job. AI is replacing the processes which could be automated, and people are not accepting or applying the automation, right? So AI will not replace professional. It will definitely amplify their clarity, right? Another part is result will always depend on how do you ask. Tool does not define the outcome, they design the outcome. You can control the design. Automation is simply removing the repetition. You understand what is getting repeated in my workplace processes and I can control it, right? You don't have to be technical at all, right? And anything if you don't understand, if you know how to write a prompt, ChatGPT can help you understand the process as well, right? So at the end, this is what we have covered today. And I'm really grateful for being so patient and being with us today, because this gives me more motivation when my learner comes up with certain topics of curiosity wherein I can definitely add few cents of mine knowledge, insights and experiences. So how professionals are actually using ChatGPT versus any other person, why most people they get the average result. I told you, right? Almost 2 billion users are there in the chat GPT across the globe. However, 60 to 70% are not even using it the way it should be. So they would always expect the average result. What are your real work scenarios? Today, if you get a time, possibly in the next 2 days, first just jot down all your work scenarios. And anywhere you can make a template out of it, keep it ready. Then think about automation, because automation will always work behind the scenes. It's not technical, it's not so complex. And then you could start using the tool, which doesn't, don't get overloaded, don't get overwhelming with so many tools. Try 1 to 2 tools. Once done, once you gain the confidence, go on the other part. And then how to think before you ask AI. One of the skill that everyone must learn before you're asking something to anything to AI to do it. How do you think? What is your purpose and how do you want it? Give time rather than just writing, check the grammar, fix the issue, draft the email. Is my CV ATS compliant? What should I write my CV? No, this does not work, right? You will always get the average results or poor results in the same, right? And tomorrow tools will change. AI models will also get upgraded. But the way you are thinking before using AI would still stay with you with better intelligence quotient. So you need to work only on that particular part, right? And how can you apply this from today? When I say today, I really mean it. You can do it. However, I don't want you to disturb your weekend, but of course you can start at any moment of time. Start small. As I said, your workplace scenario, just make 1 or 2 template, but keep it consistent. Don't take it that it's done and dusted. One task, repeat, structured prompt, review the output. Don't just blindly trust it. You may require to add it or change it. Automate only if your task gets clear. So in short, what we understand is AI won't replace professionals, because professionals have already started using AI in the smarter way. Now you need to just find yourself. Are you the one who is using it smarter, or you are still accepting what it shows to you? Thank you for being with me, and it was lovely talking to everyone.